looking at income sharing communities in the United States, and which is what I'm familiar with, and independent income communities. I want to first define them. Independent income communities, which are the most numerous by far, 90% maybe, 95, I don't know. You join the community, you pay your joining fee. Usually there is one. You buy in pretty much, and you have maybe quarterly or monthly or annual dues and fees. And your personal money that you earn and the way you earn it is your own. You can spend it, save it, invest it, use it however you want. And it's not the community's business, and your assets are your own. Income sharing communities, which is what the word commune means, literally, since that's an economic term. Income sharing communities, if we're rural, we might have one or more community businesses. We all work for those community businesses, plus we work doing services for the community, cooking, cleaning, childcare, the garden, the laundry, fixing the cars, whatever it is. And there's no joining fee, and when we join, we get jobs that we can do, and we get a room to live in, our room, and we get food, room and board. And at Twin Oaks, for example, in Virginia, very large, famous, old, big community, each member gets a stipend. At Sand Hill Farm, large in terms of size, but not large in terms of member, 35, I think, year old community, we get not a stipend, but we just write checks for what we need. And then we as a group know what we're doing, and so we get our needs met. Some income sharing communities, particularly Christian ones and Christian Anabaptist ones, you put your assets into the community when you join. There's not a joining fee, but what you've got in the bank and your investments and anything else, the community gets it. I don't know very many communities like that, and so I don't know much, but most of the income sharing communities that I know of, Sand Hill Farm, East Wind, Acorn, Twin Oaks, they're not asset sharing. They're just income sharing. Alpha Farm in Oregon is asset sharing and income sharing, and when you leave, if you leave, you get your assets back. Anabaptist, Christian Anabaptist communities and Christian Protestant Christian communities who are asset sharing, usually you don't get your assets back if you leave. But I'm not real familiar with them, so I'm just going to talk about income sharing where it's just income sharing, not asset sharing, and independent income. Now, if it's a rural income sharing community, you probably have a couple of community businesses. Acorn in Virginia, they have a seed saving business. Twin Oaks has making hammocks, making tofu, and a book indexing business. Sand Hill Farm, they have food and value-added food products, plus one of the members travels and does consultations and workshops, and his income goes into the common pot. In a rural, that's a rural income. In an urban income sharing community, I go out and do my job as a accountant. You go out and do your job as a person who parks cars for the restaurant, as a valet car parker, and this person goes out and does their job as a computer analyst, and this person goes out and does their job as a school teacher, and we all put our salaries, widely differing amounts of money, into the common pot. And then if in this urban community or in this rural income sharing community, we all get room and board and maybe a stipend, or maybe we just get what we need out of the group's joint money. So advantages and disadvantages, income sharing and independent income. The people who live in income sharing communities, or who have lived in them and who tell me the advantages, they say, it's wonderful to have how much money you make or what your status in the world is because of how much money you make or what you do, wiped out, off the table, not important. Instead, everyone's time and energy and labor is valued the same. And this feels wonderful. It also makes you on intimate relationships with everyone because, and they don't use this phrase, this is my phrase, you're financially in bed together. That is to say, what I'm doing with my financial habits affects you, and you, and you, and you. And we might even have to talk about it in meetings. My financial habits, my issues with debt or spending or saving, or how good of a couch do I want to get? I want to get a new couch for our living room couch. No, I want to get a used one from the used furniture store. Well, I want to get one out of the dumpster. Different people will have different values. So we need to discuss it. So some of the people who have lived in income sharing communities who tell me why they like it is that it creates a level of intimacy and trust and connection deeper than in an independent income community, because we're talking about such personal issues as our group money. If someone works harder or longer or with more discipline or with more skill than someone else at a joint project we're doing here that we're all doing together, and someone else works in a way where they come late and they leave early and they don't do such a good job and they maybe have an attitude while they're working, this is fodder for group conversation and potential conflict, which can sometimes be characterized as the workaholics versus the slackers, which is of course exaggeration, but this is how this can happen. So there can be conflicts, there can be opportunity for conflict more than in an independent income community, but also more opportunity for connection and trust and deep sharing. So it will appeal to people for whom that potential is rich and juicy and worthy of attention. People for whom would really enjoy that and think, this is going to be very growth worthy, it's going to change me and heal me and develop me as a human being. Or it's very good for people who have a strong economic and political ideology or set of values and beliefs that says work should be valued the same, valuing work at different amounts of money depending on what the society says or how much education you had to invest to learn how to be that doctor or lawyer or whatever. That doesn't matter here. This is the kind of culture and community I want to create. This is the kind of world I want to live in. You can be an ardent, heartful, economic activist, and living in this community is your statement to the world and your model to the world of what you're doing that can change the world. I know people at Twin Oaks who are basically economic activists, and they're modeling the lifestyle that is important to them, and they want the world to see it, and they want the world to come and see it. So that's another advantage. Another advantage of income sharing communities is you can learn fabulous new skills that you didn't know before, and you don't have to worry at all about can you pay the bills. You don't have to worry at all about can I even afford this medical insurance. You don't have to worry about stuff. You're just living in community. It's also a real advantage to young people or people without assets who want to live in community. When I meet people who come to Earth Haven and say, I really want to live in community, but why are you all about money? Why does it cost money to join here? I say, let me introduce you to Twin Oaks or any of the other income sharing communities. I said, well, we cost money because it cost our founders money to buy the land and develop it, which is a concept that for some people they don't think of at first until you point it out. So young folks and people who live outside the mainstream economy, maybe they've been a social justice activist all their life, now they're middle-aged or even in their older years, an income sharing community would be ideal. No joining fee. I know one independent income community that has no joining fee, and that's Dancing Rabbit in Missouri, just to be clear.